Hi lovely humans. Around this time of the year in 2017, I was finishing my year abroad exchange at Fudan University in Shanghai. I had just spent an amazing year. It was finally time for me to say goodbye to Shanghai. I was going to leave my dorm room at the foreign students dormitory and go on other adventures. But as the title suggests, this is not exactly how it actually happened. Yes, this is another travel horror story. If you're new to this channel, you might not know that I have a series here that's basically about shitty things that happened to me while abroad. So for context, this was at the end of the month of June. I had finished my finals. Most of my friends had already gone off back to their different countries, and as for me, I was planning on traveling for a month and a half before heading back home. So I was leaving my dorm room in Shanghai, but I was not going straight back home to France. I was actually going first to Guilin, then to the Yunnan province, and then to Taiwan. And from there, I would be going back to France. So the plan for me was that I was gonna ship back home a lot of my stuff because I had come to China with 2 entire suitcases, which was a bad idea. I now have an entire video about hacking up for when you're moving abroad. But yeah, I had 2 suitcases. As I was going to be traveling for a month and a half and like really backpacking, I was not going to take all of that stuff with me. I was only going to be leaving off, again, a backpack for a month and a half. So everything else had to go back to France somehow. So the plan for me was just to pack it in like carton boxes and like send it through the post office. I knew it was going to take a long time and it was probably going to be kind of expensive, but I figured that's kind of the best way to go about this. So the week before I was supposed to leave, I was honestly quite depressed about leaving Shanghai. I really had an amazing time being an exchange student there, and yeah, I was just sad to go. And even if I was excited for my future adventures, I just procrastinated a lot on packing. So obviously, as all good procrastinators, I ended up starting packing the day before I was supposed to leave, and I just basically pulled an all-nighter. I had to clean up all my stuff, I had to fold it, I had to just pack it in carton boxes. The good part was that I already had from friends like the boxes to put it in, and there were a lot of boxes. I don't actually remember how many there were, but I feel like there were maybe 5 or 6 small to medium boxes. And in the morning at like 9 a.m. I'm ready, I'm finished. My train for Guilin in the south of China was at 2:30 p.m. Carrying those very heavy boxes was not fun. I remember sweating so much and just carrying those boxes like little by little because I had so many I couldn't just carry them all at once. So it took me forever to get them down from my apartment, which was like very high up in the foreign student dorms, down the building and then up to the gate of the Fudan campus. And I realized at that point that I was definitely like I was gonna go post these things at the post office on campus, but the campus is quite big and I definitely could not see myself carrying them all that way. I was gonna catch a cab. Catching cab took me like 10 or 15 minutes, which if you live in Shanghai, you know that's a long time. It was just like they kept ignoring me, which is a thing in China sometimes. Cab drivers just ignore you. So finally, a cab driver picks me up. I just put my boxes in the car. We drive to the post office. I get there and I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna fill up paperwork. They're probably like gonna ask me some stuff about what's in the boxes, and I'm gonna pay quite a bit of money and then I'll be good to go. Like this should take maybe half an hour. It took 2 hours. I got to the post office at like 10:30 a.m. It was past noon when I got out. Because the thing that happened was that they couldn't just accept my boxes. Apparently, in China, when you're sending those type of boxes of stuff abroad, they can only be in the packaged box that they sell, which, okay, fine. But also, they wanted to inspect the content of the package. So it's not just that I had to open the box and transfer what I had in their approved, government approved, post office approved boxes, is that the post office workers went through every single thing that were in those boxes. They went through my underwears. Like, they unfolded clothes, they just went through everything. And it was like, once it was kind of embarrassing for me, because like they did it in the middle of the post office, and like you had people coming in and out around them, and they were just going through everything. They started criticizing pieces of electronics I had in them, because apparently I couldn't put electronics in those. And yeah, it just took forever. And then of course I had to fill out paperwork, but that didn't take that long compared to just the whole process. So by that time, you can see that there is a problem, because I thought I had a comfortable margin to like post my boxes and then get back to the dorm, pick up my backpack, check out at the dorm, and then go to the train station and have some like wiggle room to make sure I'm not late for my train. But now that I just spent an hour and a half, 2 hours at this post office, I am late. So I rushed back to my dorm room. I finished up my backpack very quickly. All the stuff that I couldn't take with me, I just dropped them in the hallway so people would just pick them up for free. Because, you know, I can't do much at that point. And yeah, and I just rushed to the metro. So at this point, it's like 1 p.m. My train is at 2:30. And it takes a bit over an hour to get to the train station. So like, it's manageable. It's very short, but it's manageable. So I rushed to the metro, and I'm very stressed out. Because again, this is not the type of train that if I miss, I can easily book again. Like, we are at the end of the month of June, so a lot of students are going back home. Trains are pretty full. It's not a train that they have every half hour is where I'm getting at. And it was a semi-expensive train ticket, I feel. I'm quite stressed. I'm texting a friend being like, hey, I'm so stressed that I'm gonna miss my train. And he's like, how bad is it? I'm like, I should be able to get it. It's just that if it's at the other end of the train station, I'm gonna have to run. I arrive at Shanghai Hongqiao railway station, and I'm like, okay, I need to get ready to run. What's my platform? Where do I run to? And I go to like, you know, like the screen where they have all the trains, and I can't see my train. And I look around to see other signs, and I just can't see my train to Guilin anywhere. So I start freaking out. I look at my ticket again to make sure I have the right time of the day. I have the right time of the day. Do I have the right date? I have the right date. What's happening? And I'm looking around, completely confused, completely panicked. Like, what's happening? Where is not my, like, it's not even marked as delayed. It's just not there. And then I look at my ticket again, my train ticket, and I realize it's the wrong train station. There are 4 major railway stations in Shanghai, and the biggest one I feel is probably the biggest one is Hongqiao. At least it's the one that I knew really well, the one that I had used before was Hongqiao. And in my stupid procrastinating last minute got late brain, I did not check what train station I was supposed to go to, and I was actually supposed to leave from Shanghai South Railway Station. I was not there, and at that point it was like 15 minutes before my train, so I was never gonna make it. Like, I was on time at a train station, it just wasn't the right one. And there was nothing I could do. And I had given back the key to my room, and I had checked out from the dorm. I didn't have a house there anymore, and I had a hotel booked for the night after that in another city, but I wasn't going to be there. And I had a breakdown because that was entirely my fault. So I started having a breakdown. I texted the friend that I had been texting in the metro. I told him, hey, I'm actually at the wrong train station, so I'm not getting on my train. I just sat on the floor and started crying. Yeah, I was that person. I went to sit down at a place where I wouldn't be bothering people, you know, walking around. Like, I don't want to be a bother to anyone. So I kind of step aside, and I just sit on the floor with my backpack, and I start bawling my eyes out. And my friend calls me. So he's in France, and he calls me, and he's like, are you okay? And I'm like, no. Like, I paid so much money for this train ticket and I just missed my train for a very stupid reason. And what do I do from here? Because, so I was supposed to go to Guilin, spend a few days in that area, and then from there, take a train to Kunming. But it's only like in a few days that I have my train from Guilin to Kunming. So if I can't get to Guilin quickly, I'm also gonna miss my train from there to Kunming. And it's like, did I just disturb my whole trip? Like, I had this whole trip planned out, and for a reminder, like, it was my first time living abroad. It was my first time really organizing big travels for myself. It was one of my first time like doing an actual trip by myself. So I felt very stupid. My friend kind of calmed me down, and he was like, can you find somewhere to stay for tonight? And I'm like, yeah, I can find something to stay for tonight. I'm not like homeless. He's like, okay, like, let's focus on the important part. So yeah, that's how I did not leave Shanghai that day. What I ended up doing was that I got my ass down at a Subway. I bought a sandwich. I got over my emotions, and then I kind of tried to make a plan for the next few days. And what I ended up doing was I booked a flight from Shanghai to Guilin. I had a flight 2 days later, which was of course more money, but in that way, because it was a flight which was much faster than the train, I would still have a few days over there before taking my train to Kunming. So in that way, it was all gonna kinda work out. I booked a bed in a dormitory hostel thing at a hotel that I already knew in Shanghai, because I had my mom stay there when she had visited me. So like, I knew the place, and I showed up there, and they told me that they didn't actually have any place in the dorms. So I booked a bed in the dormitory, but they didn't have any space in the dormitory. So I was like, don't tell me that you're making me homeless too, please. And they're like, no, we're actually gonna put you in an actual like bedroom, like not just a dormitory, like a bedroom. So that was actually very nice. I had a bedroom for that night, and I slept so well because I had been through so many emotions. Anyway, that's the end of that story. Yeah, I hope this was entertaining and that you learned that you really need to check not only the time, the date, but also the train station you're leaving from. I feel like this is obvious, like everyone knows this. This is common knowledge. But somehow, in panic, that has escaped me, and I feel like it could escape you one day. Like now, I'm one of these people who obsessively checks again and again and again from where I am living, how long it takes me to go to a place. And I am still someone who's quite late to like general social life stuff, but I've become quite anal about being very early for trains and planes and stuff like that, because I can't stand that type of stress anymore. I need to arrive at a train station or an airport early enough that if I'm at the wrong one, I still have time to go to the other one. Something like that. Thank you for watching until the end. If you like hearing stories about travel, if you like watching travel vlogs, content related to living abroad, China, US, France, all of that good stuff, please subscribe. I'll be happy to see you around again. And if you have similar stories or experiences, I'll be very happy to read them in the comments. Thank you again for watching and see you soon.
Quand on fait un truc aussi important que partir de chez soi, voilà, et partir définitivement de sa maison, en l'occurrence de ma chambre de Shanghai, qui était ma maison pendant 1 an, partir définitivement pour d'autres horizons, ce sont des moments importants, des moments où il faut de la concentration, du timing, de la précision et de la régularité. Autant de choses que je ne possède absolument pas. J'étais arrivée à temps pour mon train, mais j'étais arrivée dans la mauvaise gare. D'ailleurs, en fait, si vous voulez savoir, à l'heure actuelle, je suis toujours à Shanghai. Yay! Je suis à Zhongshan Park. C'est joli, hein?